Hi everyone, I'm Miss Ho, the school social worker. Today we are talking about two essential topics in understanding children's behavior, the four functions of behavior and the ABC model. As parents, understanding these concepts can help us encourage positive actions and address challenging ones more effectively. So, let's dive right in. Parents play a crucial role in understanding and shaping their children's behaviors. Identifying the reasons behind children's actions can foster better communication and positive relationships. Are you ready? Let's start. First, let's explore the four functions of children's behavior. Behavior always happens for a reason, even if it seems random to us as parents. Generally, behaviors fall into four categories: sensory, escape, attention, and tangible access. First, sensory. This happens when a child engages in behavior simply because it feels good or provides some sensory input. For example, spinning around until they are dizzy or humming loudly to themselves. Then, escape. When a child wants to avoid or get out of something unpleasant, they may throw a tantrum or come up with endless excuses. Imagine asking your child to clean their room, and suddenly they have an urgent need to use the bathroom. After that, attention. Sometimes children engage in behavior to get your attention. For instance, May screams whenever her father walks away, and as soon as he comes back, she stops. Her behavior is reinforced because of it consistently gets her the attention she wants. Tangible access. This is when a child behaves a certain way to get something they want. For example, Ben hits his friend to grab the toy he wants. If he succeeds in getting the toy, that behavior might continue. These four behavior categories do not imply that these behaviors are bad. These categories are labels for both positive and negative behavior actions. At this stage, some of you might still be confused about the four functions of behavior, so let's dive deeper into each function. First, attention refers to the behavior where a child engages in certain actions to receive attention. Understanding this function requires us to examine the child's expectation. Children seek attention because they desire feedback or a response from others. As we mentioned in the previous slide, this function can manifest in both positive and negative behaviors. For example, raising a hand in class to get called by a teacher is a positive example of seeking attention. The child is demonstrating engagement and a desire to participate, which reinforces their learning. On the other hand, screaming to get someone's attention is a negative example. The child may feel ignored and resorts to disruptive behavior to ensure they are acknowledged, even if it means receiving negative feedback. Next, let's explore the escape function of behavior. This occurs when a child engages in a behavior to end or avoid something they don't like. Children often exhibit this behavior when they want to escape a task or a situation they find unpleasant. A positive example of this might be a child taking a different route home to avoid heavy traffic, demonstrating the ability to make choices that lead to a more pleasant experience. Conversely, a negative example would be a child throwing a tantrum because they have to tidy up their toys. In this case, the tantrum serves as a way to avoid the chore altogether. The sensory function of behavior refers to when a child engages in a behavior because it physically feels good or alleviates discomfort. This typically occurs when a child seeks to experience a pleasant sensation or replace something that feels bad. For instance, a positive example is a child fanning his face on a hot day to cool down and enjoy the refreshing breeze. Conversely, a negative example would be a child scratching an itchy mosquito bite, which may provide temporary relief, but can lead to more irritation or injury in the long run. After that, the tangible function of behavior describes how a child engages in actions to gain access to an item or activity they desire. This often occurs when a child is motivated to obtain something special. A positive example of this would be a child completing their homework to earn time on their iPad, demonstrating responsibility and the understanding of earning rewards. Conversely, a negative example could be a child hitting their sibling to force them to give up a toy. This behavior reflects an unhealthy approach to obtaining what they want. Bypassing appropriate communication and problem-solving skills. The four functions of behavior: attention, escape, sensory, and tangible access serve as essential mechanisms through which children interact with their environment and communicate their needs. Attention-seeking behaviors involve actions aimed at gaining social interaction or acknowledgement from others, which can manifest positively through engagement or negatively through disruptive actions. Escape behaviors occur when children seek to avoid unpleasant tasks or situations, often leading to actions like tantrums or taking alternative routes. Sensory behaviors arise from the desire to experience pleasurable sensations or alleviate discomfort, such as fanning oneself on a hot day or scratching an itchy. Lastly, tangible access. Behaviors are driven by the need to gain access to desired items or activities, exemplified by completing homework for screen time or conversely, hitting a sibling for a toy. Understanding these functions can help caregivers better support children's emotional and behavioral needs, fostering healthier interactions and development. We are going to explore the four functions of behavior through two cases. Understanding these functions can help us respond effectively to our children's actions. Let's dive right in. Case 1. Sue screams every time her father walks away from her. When she engages in this screaming behavior, her father returns to her and asks, "What's wrong, Sue?" Can you think of what the function of Sue's behavior might be? The answer is attention. When Sue wants attention, she screams. This behavior consistently results in her getting the attention she seeks. Case 2. Ben wants a toy from his friend. During playtime, Ben will hit the peer, which results in the peer dropping the toy and crying. What do you think is the function of Ben's behavior in this scenario? The answer is tangible access. As a result of hitting, Ben now has access to the toy he wanted. This hitting behavior will likely continue if he realizes that hitting a friend leads to getting the toy he desires. By understanding these examples, we can better support our children in expressing their needs in more positive ways. Thank you for joining me. Let's talk about the next concept. Now that we know why children behave in certain ways, let's look at the ABC model, which helps us understand how behaviors occur and proceed. ABC stands for antecedent, behavior, and consequence. Let's break it down. The ABC model explains how behaviors occur and proceed. Each behavior starts with a stimulus or trigger. known as the antecedent. For example, when driving, seeing a speed limit sign is the antecedent. This trigger leads to a behavior response, which is anything a person says or does. In this case, is reducing speed. Following the behavior comes the result or response, called the consequence. If you notice surrender and feel relieved that you won't get a ticket, this positive consequence may encourage you to repeat the behavior of adhering to the speed limit. Conversely, if you are in a hurry and ignore the speed limit, resulting in a fine, the antecedent here is the rush, the behavior is speeding, and the consequence is the fine. A negative consequence like this can deter the behavior in the future. Thus, positive consequences tend to reinforce behaviors, while negative consequences may reduce them. Now, let's talk about the ABC model, which helps us understand behavior in children. A stands for antecedent. This refers to the event or stimuli that trigger a behavior. It's what happens right before the behavior occurs. B is for behavior. This is the observable and measurable action that follows the antecedent. It's what we can see and evaluate. C represents consequence. This encompasses the event or stimuli that occur after the behavior. Consequences can be positive, like praise or rewards, or negative, such as punishment or correction. For example, consider this scenario. The antecedent is a request from parents. This might lead to a behavior, such as aggression. In response to the request, the consequence of this behavior could be punishment or an educational response from the parents. Understanding the ABC model allows us to identify triggers and responses in children's behavior, helping us to support and guide them more effectively. Caregivers can modify the antecedents and consequences to encourage positive behavior and discourage negative behavior. Let's try to identify the antecedent, behavior, and consequence in the case. Case 1. Mary is a 10-year-old girl who attends a mainstream school. Recently, she has been having difficulty with transitions, especially when it's time to switch from one activity to another. During these transitions, she often becomes agitated and has a tantrum, which can last for several minutes. Her parents are concerned about how to support her during these transitions. Can you think of the ABC of this case? For the antecedent, it is the transition from one activity to another, and for the behavior, it's becoming agitated and having a tantrum that lasts for several minutes. So the consequence is the transition is delayed or that Mary receives attention from her parents during the tantrum. So let's discuss another case. In this case, there are two sets of ABC model. Case 2. Jason is an 8-year-old boy who is a picky eater and often unwilling to try new foods. He typically rejects unfamiliar foods and becomes upset when encouraged to try them, which leads his parents to ease off on their efforts. One day, Jason was particularly hungry and noticed a new vegetable on his plate. He expressed interest in trying it and hesitantly took a small bite. To his surprise, the vegetable tasted better than he expected. His parents praised him for trying the new food, saying, "Great job trying the new vegetable, and you are so brave for trying something new." Since then, Jason has become more open to trying new foods. Can you think of the ABC model of this case? In the first part, Antecedent is he's a picky eater and forced to try new food by his parents. For the behavior, rejects new foods and becomes agitated when prompted to try them. Consequence: his parents give up on encouraging him to try new foods. In the part 2, the ABC would be: A. Antecedent was too hungry and saw a new vegetable on his plate. B. Behavior: expressed interest in trying it, picked it up and took a small bite. C. Consequence: receives positive reinforcement from his parents and more likely to try new foods in the future. By using the ABC model, we can better understand how behaviors are influenced by specific events. The above framework are helpful tools for parents to support children in their growth and development. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you found this information useful. Thank you.